Dr. Chinmay Hegde is the CEO and Managing Director of Astricos Consulting Private Limited, a strategy consulting expert organization for smart cities, smart infrastructure, and security in India. He works closely with multiple government and non-government organizations in India and Asian countries. I welcome you, Dr. Chinmay Hegde, for the session. Look forward for an interactive session. I request participants to ask any questions you have to Dr. Chinmay. Over to you, sir.
Balchandra, making co-host.
Now you can unmute and share. I have made you
Now I can.
co-host.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes. Thanks a lot for the opportunity again, Dr. Rajeshwari and everybody, Dr. Balchandra, in fact. So, am I quite audible to everybody?
Yes, yes. It's good.
Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. So, and today's topic that I have been given is the smart cities as well as smart city frameworks and role of the integrated command and control centers in smart cities. You might have heard of the command control rooms. Every smart cities, bringing up to control the city operations. So we are going to do a little bit of a deep dive into that, and also I'm going to take you through some of the globally recognized frameworks and standards. Like there are various ISO and IEEE defined standards, and also some of the successful cities across the world have followed some best practices, and they have laid out some of the standard frameworks. Even we are going to get a quick introduction on that. At the same time, uh, uh, after that, how to bring these kind of theoretical practices into the the real practice, so that the citizens as well as the city administrators can have a good environment to work as well as experience. So I will start sharing my slide deck. I have a slide deck, and also I'll give at the end of the slide deck, maybe at regular intervals, couple of video recordings that we have taken from the certain smart cities, and the concepts, all these things we have. I'm going to showcase that. I'm going to switch off my camera and start sharing my screen. Yeah, hope my screen is on for everybody.
Yes, yes, it is fine.
I'll go on a full screen mode. Even please let me know if you are not able to see that. Yeah. So smart city integrated command and control center standards and KPI analytics. So when I talk about KPIs, the full form of KPIs, key performance indicators, as all of us know, there are certain standards for even KPIs, and every infrastructure, may it be city, may it be rail network, may it be factories, maybe any such kind of organizations or any organizations, are actually administered on the basis of key performance indicators. So all performance indicators have been assigned against the key responsibility areas, right? So how to measure that, and how technology can help to measure the KPIs, and how smart cities across the globe as well as in India are doing it. So we are going to look at these, and also some of the global standards defined by the globally recognized bodies under United Nations Sustainability Development Goals, like World Council for City Data, WCCD. And uh, according to that, there are certain ISO standards are defined, like ISO 37120, which is a smart city quality of life indicator, and ISO 37122, which are smart city administration KPI standards, as well as ISO 22320, which is emergency and resilience standards, like a crisis management situations or any such kind of a cases. How all these can be brought in and how these things can be done together over the period of time in the smart cities, where all these the smart cities administrator, how they have implemented as part of their command and control center solution, and how they are facilitated with the latest technologies which can help them to do the things. Of course, a quick glimpse about the organization that I'm part of, which is we have the smart city platforms, which is we also are aligned with some global leaders for the co-development and platform cooperativism. We also power this kind of a command control center environment along with the technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning. So we also have a patent pending, and of course our global footprints is across India as well as Middle East and Southeast Asia and Northern Africa. Mainly we work in the developing nations, also some of the Middle Eastern nations especially. So let us go directly into what is the role of ITRIPLEC. When I say about ITRIPLEC, it is an integrated command and control center, which is a unified operation center, because it is not just a dashboarding solution, or it's not just a solution, or not just a platform which can only give a visualization, but it has to do a lot of things apart from that, right? So what are those functionalities city administration should get facilitated with is, number one, the platform has to be a collaborative platform. Of course, before it's being collaborative, it has to be intuitive, such as the situational awareness should be allowed for the city administrators, right? So how to avail all these things based on the southbound most the part of the entire building block. So this is a total smart cities building block where city will have its infrastructure. The infrastructures may contain utility operations like water SCADA, energy SCADA, sewage SCADA system, right? Supervisory control and data acquisition systems, SCADA as in, and environmental control. So environmental sensor, solid waste management, because the waste collection of the city or waste management across the city is quite important for the environment's health. And buildings, there will be a lot of the government facilities and etc. They need to be managed. Similarly, the safety across the city. So safety, when I say about safety, video surveillance, emergency response buttons such as panic button or emergency call boxes across the city are deployed for citizen safety. And infrastructure, wherein the power infrastructure or the connectivity or the communication infrastructure and parking systems, all these things are actually laid out across the city's geographies. And traffic, the other day session what we saw, adaptive traffic management or a traffic control or any such kind of a things, right? So where it's quite important to have the these traffic enforcement or traffic control measures as part of this, right? So these things are quite important. Similarly, there are other services where the emergency response or citizen governance or any such kind of the medical or pandemic control, such kind of services would have been deployed. And also we have the help desk and contact center where citizens, either it could be on a web based or a mobile based or a telephone based, a citizen can call at a citizen contact center to uh, you know uh, express their grievances, and the grievance redressal mechanism from then on take place. Now how all these things are part of the sustainable infrastructure of the city. How to maintain the sustainability of these? Sustainability of these is by centrally having them connected at a place, and that place is nothing but an integrated command and control center of the city. So where it actually has multiple the modules which relate to all these vertical solutions, right? So, and these solutions, using this, what do we do is we actually provide first of all a situational awareness, as I told, and the visibility. The visibility gives the complete performance landscape of the city to the administrators. So that is quite important, and certain KPIs can be monitored there. And also, when we have this large infrastructure, because city is a quite a complex infrastructure, it has got a lot of mix and match of the types of the assets, because everything is an asset, right? So there are actuators for the pump sets, or there can be the valves, controllers, PLCs, and all such kind of chipsets, right? So all these microcontrollers and all these kind of the instrumentation would have been deployed across the city, right? So all these are nothing but assets, right? So maintaining the asset, because the government or the city administration would have already spent money on deploying all these assets, that is an investment, and it's a significantly large investment for each city. So when any investment is made, because a smart city cannot be smart unless there is an economical model around it, right? So the first step for the economical model attainability or success of the economical model is actually nothing but uh, uh, nothing but the maintenance or reaping more return on investment from the ROI, the assets. That is the important part. Similarly, there is a decision support system. The decision support system is quite important, which needs to be intuitive, right? So, this decision support system should be powered by the latest technologies such as big data management or machine learning based systems, which provides the or improves the performance of the entire city, the city administrators. And next is about central control. As I said, all this equipment would be connected centrally at the command center, right? So a kind of a human machine interfacing, or in simple abbreviation HMI, is created where across the uh, all the assets of the city. And similarly, there is empowerment is like there is a people empowerment. The administration could be successful only if the field operation is successful. How to make the field operation successful is to equip the operational, the officials, may it be the water management maintenance engineers, or may it be the municipal corporation workers, or the municipal workers or city corporation workers, or anybody, equip them with a particular field operation control based mobile apps or any such kind of a measures which can be handheld. And also, every city or every governmental organization works based on something called standard operating protocol or standard operating procedures, right? So SOPs. So these SOPs first need to be automated. So if that is automated, it is not just for the namesake of automation, it has to be more of operational driven, right? So the action, the SOP laid out, or the workflow management which is laid out, should demand the action from the respective officials or the workforce of the city administration. So all these things together, and also it provides the complete feedback, because when we talk about the matured uh, infrastructure, city is a matured organization, right? So matured organization should have a completely a time bound or time driven mechanism. Of course, right now the Indian systems may not be working in that aspect, but eventually that is where it will go when the command control centers are successfully implemented across cities. So this is in a nutshell what a command and control center will do. Moving on to the some of the global standards and essential reference, as I initially referred to, right? So ISO 37122 2019, that is a sustainable cities and communities indicators for smart cities. This is the major component where the city administration can bank on. It defines all the indicators or key performance indicators for the smart cities. Similarly, ISO 37120 2018, this is a sustainable cities and communities indicator for citizens' quality of life and the city services. So this is a kind of a citizen feedback mechanism, which is depicted in this standard of ISO 37120, right? Which keeps the citizens engaged with the city administration. And third one is about the security and resilience and emergency or disaster management, which is ISO 22320. Right? So this is a guideline for incident management and response mechanism, because cities operations success lies in how the incidents are efficiently responded or mitigated. So that is quite important. So that is where the city administration can showcase their efficiency to the citizens in a convincing way, right? So according to these things, WCCD, that is World Council on City Data, has actually defined certain kind of a maturity model. This maturity model is aspirational, bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, right? So there are many indicators which define the maturity of the citizen or city operations. That is more than 100. Here they have listed only up to 100, but there are other models like India has adopted through the smart city mission around out of these 100, maybe 56 parameters India has adopted. But there are some countries who have even found out more derivatives out of these, and it goes up to 130 or 135 number of parameters. Based on the parameters, the city, how much the city has achieved, based on that, this particular grading mechanism has been brought in by WCCD. So moving further, right? So the in a simple building block of this global smart city framework, if I have to explain, first is the development, then the enablement, facilitation, and action, right? So these are the four important building blocks. They have certain other the stones in the same building block are, one is an environmental layer where physical environment and socio-cultural environment comes into the picture, and the digital layer, which actually all these physical infrastructures generate a lot of data, right? So this data is gathered, right? So this data is actually put into the technological platforms and analyzed, and a complete self-learning mechanism or the feedback mechanism is created. Because if we have data, then we can work on the data and then find out the problems, issues, or nuances, or the lacunae, and fix those things, right? Similarly, we even, the next layer is service layer. Based on the learning which data provides, the services can be deployed and the citizens can be addressed directly. And then on topping on all these things is the actors role. Actors as in the administration, right? They have to completely be on top of this and have the hang of it any moment, at any point of given at any given point in time. And they need to analyze and then take it forward and implement the respective policies. See, policies, the practical scenario is most of the cases policies are there on the paper but not really implemented, right? How to implement these things? So the guidelines is provided in global smart city framework. So known frameworks and models, some of the known frameworks and models, like building community. This is the again the another diagram which explains even more in detail that how a complete cyclic process of this works, right? The feedback loop, action loop. And there are some well-known frameworks which are USA uses NIST frameworks, which depicts the interoperability of the cyber physical system, CPS, or IES, IoT enabled smart city concept, right? So this is the link where you can refer more. Similarly, European smart city model, right? The entire Europe uses a particular model, which is under European Union. However, Spain in Europe especially uses a completely different model, which is quite mature, because Spain has been known for pioneering entire smart city initiatives across the globe. So Spain's model, such as Barcelona smart city, which is very well and known and famous globally, right, is a good case study, right, which has got this document, has got all these models, which anyway I'm passing on after the session to Dr. Rajeshwari, who can share with every one of you. Next is the known framework models. What do they do? They actually follow the complete framework by name balance scorecard approach. So this balance scorecard approach is actually one management concept, which typically every corporate or many of the corporates across the globe follow for reviewing their progresses or reviewing their performances, right? So the same thing to be implemented for the cities. How this balanced scorecard approach is amended and implemented, we will see in the forthcoming. First, let us understand what is India's mission for the smart cities, right? So India's mission, when we see Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, right, which is the owner body or the department for the smart cities initiative across India, has formed a smart city mission, right? So this mission has its own guidelines. The generic guidelines are available at this particular URL. And also there is a data and cyber security, the data privacy and cyber security, because as all of us know, the Supreme Court of India had brought in a judgment in 2016, sorry, 2017, that the citizens, because see, city is a smart city initiative, or city is an open data concept. The data which is there is an open system, and it is a citizens data which should not be misused. That is the the gist of this entire thing, where the data privacy guidelines are separately brought in for each of the smart city, which can also be referred across. And this is the complete block of the smart city livability index. This, why do we talk so much about smart cities? Smart cities cannot be smart unless and until they are livable and sustainable, right? So the making the city livable, right, the basic aspect behind making more and more smart cities across India or any other country is to first of all cut down the migration problem to the urban areas from villages or the smaller towns. Why? Because the smaller towns, more people migrate from the smaller towns to the bigger cities, the population clusters get created, and it becomes a big administrative as well as manageability problem. So why people migrate? Because in the expectancy of the better livability standards. So now, if the smaller cities like tier 2, tier 3, or tier 4 cities or towns are made smarter eventually, then and made smarter as in livable and sustainable, this particular problem of migration from small towns to the big cities will eventually cut down. That is the aspiration, right? So under this aspiration, every country, especially India, has taken it quite seriously and laid out the complete model. So there are hundreds cities across India, tier 1, tier 2, and also tier 3 are selected for this smart city initiative as a first phase. In the upcoming phases, there will be more cities, right? So that every city's standard is improved, livability standards are improved. So what is this livability standard? The livability standard has four aspects. One is institutional, social, economical, and physical. Yeah, actually we will have to read this bottom up. When we read it bottom up, the physical layer, which is the dire necessity or the basic necessity, what we call it as, right? So that is quite important, because every citizen wants the power, water, and better sanitation and mobility. These are the important aspects. That is a basic. That is why This is India Smart City missions, the livability standards guideline. 45% of a weightage is given to physical part. Then about 5% is economic index, because if you have to make any model or any infrastructure sustainable, there needs to be a economical model around it, like how to cut down the cost, how to monetize the infrastructure, and how to better utilize the monetization which is generated out of it. And then next 25% weightage is given to social factors, which is mainly of empowering people, right? So safety, security is the one, healthcare is the one, and education, because people need to be more and more aware. Only they will be aware only if they are educated. So similarly, the identity and culture index, this is like a place should not lose its originality, right? So that is the intention here. The heritage has to be carried forward, but it has to grow over the period of time. So that is the idea. Even that is also part of a societal features. So similarly, institutional, that's the governance. Here, 25% weightage, because the governance of this entire infrastructure, that is the administration of the city, is important, and 25% of the weightage is given in the livability standards, because all these have sub parameters. As I said, the earlier ISO 37 120 122 we saw, all these are translated into this simplistic model actually, right? So we will move on from here to the next thing, what is actually what is in actuality and reality, right? So Cardinal Labs has been, you see this particular news item which states that till this is dated, I think, May 25th 2020, when the last year lockdown was going on, right? So at that time the lesson learned was, till then, the thing is, yeah, we can talk all the things, livability indices have these, and these are all theoretical aspects. Bringing into practicality, it has a willingness matter which needs to be always taken in consideration, right? So when the willingness is considered, at that time it so happens that the practical implementation will have some lapses. What are the cardinal lapses? Till COVID issue happened, right, the pandemic arrived, the healthcare in every smart city was having only 1% of the total funds. So how are we going to tackle this? And now after this, every smart cities tenders or the proposals are covering good amount of healthcare, right? But we don't need to have these kind of learnings again and again, which are already known to everybody. Now, we spoke some time ago about the balanced scorecard approach. So, how the corporate balanced scorecard approach is translated to smart city balanced scorecard approach. The smart city balanced scorecard approach has few other parameters, that is citizens perspective, environmental perspective, and social perspective, and employee satisfaction. This is the governance part of it. So this is a traditional business balance scorecard, where we add a public aspects to this, the perspectives of the public factors, right? That is translated into cities smart city balance scorecard. So what are these perspectives? Are actually citizens perspective is the government transparency and accountability, government service delivery, employment, health and education, and equity. Similarly, internal process perspective is scenario planning, automation, efficiency, so on so forth. Similarly, learning and growth perspective and financial perspectives have certain other parameters underlying to them. So this is how the corporate or a business balance scorecard is amended to address the public infrastructures like smart cities. And how can, based on these scorecards, the smart cities administration can be made more efficient. So before I move on to this, I just want to, because give a quick break and ask if anybody has any questions.
Any questions?
Okay, so I'll move to the next one. The purpose of integrated command and control center platform. ICCC in simple, ICCC platform. The purpose of this platform is to bring in all these theoretical aspects so far we spoke about. So one is connecting all the cities' physical infrastructure to cater to the physical index in the livability standards, right? We have to connect them together and lay out the policy to address the governance index and bring in a monetization of it, right? So we saw all those the modules of the livability indices, right? So all these indices are actually being practically brought into the practice using the integrated command and control center platform. So what this command and control center platform do achieve these things is, one is it is a unified central platform, centralize entire operations together. Next is unified control platform. It controls all the assets, right, of the city. May it be a water network related asset, power network related asset, transportation such as bus tracking, vehicle tracking, and etc. Also the environmental sensors are connected together and controlled centrally to measure the air quality indices of the city, greenhouse gases measurement, and etc. Similarly, there are other citizen e-governance portals like property tax system, building permission system, birth certificate, death certificate kind of applications applying for those things, right? All these things are centrally connected at a single platform, which is of course the operational technology management, OT technology management, also IT technology management, that is e-governance, and all these things work on a information technological protocols, whereas the instrumentation works based on the operational technology or internet of things, IoT technologies, protocols. So all these protocols, the integrated command and control center platform should understand and support this heterogeneity, and all these are connected together centrally, and unified control platform is created. Similarly, unified command platform. When I say about command platform, yes, we are controlling and also demand the information from all these assets or the instruments across the city, right? So that is the command platform which demands the data from them and converts the data into information, processed information, and on that there will be a respective analytics using the machine learning, deep learning kind of a technologies is deployed, and a proactiveness or the predictiveness is given, enabled for the city administration. Similarly, the unified operations, or because city is a complex system, the biggest challenge all of us in our common life, the face is any city of India. It may be, let us say today the public works or the city corporation comes and lays the road. After a couple of days, somebody from the water board come and dig the road, and road is again damaged, right? Again, it takes a month or a 2 or a 3 or a 6 to again lay the road. That after 3 4 days, some telecom like BSNL or anybody will come and again cut the road, right? Dig the road, again the road is in the same condition. So why this happens? This happens because there is no collaborative environment across multiple departments of the government. The integrated command and control center platform is intended to do that. Also, it actually unifies the operation for various different line departments in the city. So the command control center environment is created, such as even a physical rooms are created, command control center rooms, where these platforms are deployed, where each stakeholder of different department comes and sits and operates on this on a large video wall, because people will be engaged only if you give them the facilities and instrumentation physically also, not only virtually, right? So that is how people are used to. So that is the reason even a command control center building is also created. All the department stakeholders are brought in there, one or two respective officers of each department. They are made to sit there and operate on this ICCC platform. Similarly, the unified decision support system, the unified decision support system overall takes makes the informed decision making. So when I say informed decision making, this is again powered by the data intelligence, right? So it has to speed up the activity of the decision making for the citizen, so city administrators. So that is the idea. So these are the five aspects which are catered using ICCC platform. So how the urban systems work together, right? So there are various verticals, such as there is a safety, security, police, family and social welfare, and sorry, and environmental, the pollution control board, and various departments. They work together, right? The ICCC platform creates the system of system approach across all these. This is in a nutshell how the architecture is, the total top level architecture is. So there is a, the buildings plans, visibility, firefighting and emergency management, public safety, and improved health indices, as well as educational indices, etc. So various such kind of a factors are actually catered using the ICCC platform, right? Moving on to the next, granularly decimating this entire thing. If you see here, the institutional weightage, as I told, all these weightages, right, of this ISO 37 120 and 122 are as well as the smart city livability indices modules are actually elaborated out here by what are the smart city drivers for the each index, and what is the solution that caters to. When I say solution, it's a technological solution, such as governance index is catered using e-governance, etc., and CCTV surveillance, that is a safety, security, all these things. So this is a clear mapping of how the livability index matrix is mapped to smart city key drivers. Key drivers means that is the requirement, and how what solution caters to these requirements, right? So this is how it is. And integrated command and control center or unified operation center platform is supposed to plug club all these things together on a single pane of glass. So the standards, as I said, there are ISO 37120, 37122. We have these solutions which we are deploying right now across the cities. 5 cities in India we are already working, and uh, even outside India also. So what do we do? That there is a data intelligence module which provides the data intelligence such as a prediction, right? The data intelligence, when I talk about, or the machine learning models, if I talk about, it has got four phases. One is the describing, that's a descriptive analytic, and there is a total insights, right? And then there is a predictive analytics, and then the prescriptive advisories, right? Overall, all these four different aspects of data analytics are brought in, and using the respective algorithms for predicting, because being at the center of the city, we have access to the data from water network, power network, or pollution data of the city, or surveillance and safety standards of the city, everything that we have the availability of the data at a central point. We are in a better position to do this, hence we have started doing this, right? When we started doing this, we learned that how a pollution control in the city has a direct impact on healthcare index, and how better traffic control has an impact on the pollution index of the city, how solid waste management of the entire city is really positively impacting on the healthcare of the citizens. So all these collaborative aspects we started finding, and we started bringing in tangibility for those things, and also we started even doing the forecasting and helping the city administrators to know these things more and more. That was the thing. And also some of the examples that we are able to see this, how this works out is here. And using these, also we give the prediction, and using the prediction, right, we also suggest the certain kind of advisories, that is called prescription, right, to the city administrators, where the city administrators information is actually as good as dead if you do not act on the information, right? So we have to bring in action point here. Whatever is learned and prescribed by the system, which can be put back into action using the platform. What are the actions actually? There are three types of actions. Also, these three can be mixed and matched and made a combination of the actions also. One is raise the work order for the asset management, because everything in the city's infrastructure is an asset. Sorry, maintaining that asset effectively is quite important, right? So second is raise a workflow for a complete process management, right? Because any city operation is a collaboration, right? Collaboration will be effective only if there is a process management or a business process management or a standard operating procedures automation. So raise a workflow to do that. And third one is controlling the respective devices. Okay, there is some emergency issue found by the camera, immediately you can focus on that and take more and more information from the central command center itself, right? So that is an example of equipment control. So these are the major aspects. The learned or prescribed advisories by the data analytics platform is put back into the action in these ways. Then the operational excellence can be achieved. Now I'm going to give you a video demo of how a smart city command and control center platform functions on a daily basis, right? So this is how the technology is empowering citizens as well as mainly the city administrators. Okay, this platform is intended for the city administrators. If the city administration is better, citizens quality of life will be better. So here, if you see this entire system, we have all these vertical solutions like a smart bus system or a transport system, street lighting, CCTV, intelligent traffic management, environmental sensors, water, sewage treatment plant, water network, power network, building management, and SOPs. All are connected vertically, right? So similarly, each track has its own KPIs, key performance indicators, right? So you are seeing these numbers. These numbers are nothing but each track's KPIs, right? And using these KPI numbers, a livability index is arrived to, drinking water index is arrived to, and revenue index is arrived to. So now I'm going to play this. Just before that, I'll reduce the volume if it is got a high volume kind of a thing. As I'm playing this, I'm going to explain how it is. Now, when we go to the transport management of the entire city, we have here the transport management, entire city's transport management is visualized on a geospatial information system, that is the GIS map. And here, bottom part of the screen, you are seeing the top level KPIs, such as how many tickets sold on this day, and how many passengers traveled today, and what is the revenue that was collected. And there are certain SOPs, standard operation procedure summary, like how many vehicles are broken down, how many emergency cases, fire cases, and etc. Here there is a status, how many buses are running, right? Now you can also figure out live bus tracking and aggregate all the things and real-time summary of the entire infrastructure. So there are about these many number of vehicles are there, right? So, and again we are going back here, and buses as well as bus shelters and bus stands are also plotted there. And this is the revenue index of the transport system on a given day, particular given day, right? And next is the street lighting. The street lighting is connected here, the panels, the asset details, right? So as you see, These are all asset details of this. And also you can control them, either switch on or switch off the lights remotely from the command control center itself. And also you can take the meter details or the performance details like energy consumption, and because these are all the factors to define the major sustainability factors, energy consumption and burn time and etc, right? And what is the monthly summary energy audits? Similarly, the surveillance or the CCTV surveillance across the city, all the cameras are connected, and they are collectively plotted on the map. And you can see any area, there are automatically video analytics is running, which will communicate back also. And this is the environmental sensors across the city. We can see greenhouse gases readings. What is based on this? What is the air quality index, right? So such as, if we see here, there are multiple parameters. Here PM is a microparticle, PM 2.5, PM 10 microparticle, and SO2 sulfur dioxide, and the all these are greenhouse gases. Ozone, right? Nitrogen dioxide, these are all greenhouse gases. We need to keep monitoring, being in the center of the city command center. And moving on to the next thing is, even a water network of, or the sewage network of entire city could be connected. The sewage treat all the sewage treatment plants can be connected and monitored centrally. Also they can be controlled, right? So the pump set can be, the any kind of a chemical dosing or sludge dilution. All these activities which are part of the uh, wastewater treatment or a water treatment can be done. See, if you see there, I want to switch off the pump, right? I can switch off the pump because there may be some fault in that pump, and I'll stop that pump. And then to maintain that asset, I'll create a work order. When I create a work order, right, I can do a preventive asset maintenance or a corrective maintenance of the asset. So automatically these things are taken from here, and a work order could be raised on the maintenance contractor, and maintenance contractor gets notified. They will come and repair it, and then the pump can be made, switched on. So this is what, again, a day before yesterday in the session of this traffic management, I have shown about one of the sample SOPs. This is slightly same one, but slightly elaborative, which is more descriptive, where how a city's administrator sitting in the command center can control an emergency scenario, and how can they effectively respond to the situation, right? This is a workflow management or a SOP, standard operating procedure management. uh, the example where there is a fire incident again, right? So fire incident, the vehicle's fire engine and everything is assigned, or a police vehicle for identifying is also, clearing the traffic is also assigned. So emergency response tracking, emergency vehicles and CCTVs, because these are all where, what we said, city is a unified control center, unified operation center, right? uh, Somebody wants to annotate, looks like. Please, Dr. Naina, is it by mistake? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's by mistake.
Okay, then I think you have to withdraw the request of that annotation. Anyway, I'm not able to do that here. Okay, so I can use this annotator, that's okay. Right, so here we have, this is the complete road, and there are certain vehicles, right? Now these vehicles, if they have to move, what is the route optimization, which is also suggested out here? And any questions there?
No.
Yes. So I'm going to play this. Route optimization is suggested, and as I said, city command center, it aggregates here how many verticals? It aggregates here the transportation, that is the vehicles. Second one is emergency management. Third is a surveillance, which is a police department, right? So you assume here the transport management, emergency response has got different departments. Number one is a fire, response department, and also there is a law and order police, there is a traffic police, right? And if there is an health emergency, then healthcare department is also involved, right? So all these departments are brought on a same, the pane of glass. So now I want to see, okay, how many CCTVs are there when this emergency occurred? I want to see all the cameras, how is the traffic scenario, right? So I'm able to see that. Then after I can create the SOP and then run this SOP, right? Then it goes on, which we saw day before yesterday, right? So this is in a nutshell what a command and control center does. Okay. So moving on to the next aspect, which is, the crisis management. Because see, till the time this pandemic occurred last year, right? Nobody knew, or nobody even forecasted that this scale of a pandemic or the crisis could occur on the, the every country on the globe, actually, right? So here, the same index which is there for smart city livability standards is also taking a different shape as a ISO 22320 index. This is one of the solutions which we created as a command control center for National Crisis Control and Response Management Mitigation System. This we created for Malaysia, and for the many federal territories there. I'm just showcasing this, how it is functioning and how it is intended to function over the period of time. Also, is like the way emergency and crisis management also has got multiple drivers and multiple parameters. All these parameters are addressed using the respective solution selection out here, right? So I'm going to show this how it actually works. This is the glimpse of it, how these are. I'm going to show a video that which will be self-explanatory. There will be a background, the dictation on that. You can take a look at it, which does the similar thing of a integrated command and control centers functionality. I'm going to just play this video. Give me a moment.
This has got a audio. I hope I can play the audio also on this WebEx. If you are not able to hear it, please let me know. Okay. This is about 8 minutes video. Like pandemics and other emergencies. Are you able to hear this?
Yes.
You are able to hear loudly, right? Or is it very feeble?
Just increase the volume.
I will increase the volume and replay this. Okay. Black swan incidents, like pandemics and other emergencies, require technologically integrated response by a cross-functional collaboration, while mining unstructured data by deriving insights from disparate sources. BioWave, through collaboration with Astricos and Aviva, provides advisory and implementation expertise in the areas of technology, ICT, IoT, consulting, implementation of public enterprise policy, industrial automation, and IoT for smart infrastructure and disaster management by means of cognitive intelligence and data science. Our machine learning platform provides predictive and prescriptive analytics along with multidisciplinary collaboration frameworks. The National Healthcare Administrative Platform, NC2RMS from BioWave and Astricos, is an integrated AI-driven operational intelligence solution that provides the HAMMER, the holistic mitigation and control strategy to enable collaborative actions and flatten the pandemic curve. The HAMMER shows how technology-based real-time interventions can quickly control and then dramatically reduce the spread of the pandemic by deploying collaborative platforms. In the current prevailing COVID pandemic scenario, managing and mitigating the spread with the help of technology intervention has become a mandate across the globe. However, Through many applications were developed to address some aspects, there is currently no platform to integrate them to enable end-to-end monitoring and effective control. Lapses in supply chain leads to poor distribution, a persistent problem due to lack of visibility of vaccination registration at different centers. Now, the critical necessity to arrest the spread is to ensure that maximum number of people get vaccinated, a process that necessitates cross-functional coordination. NC2RMS is equipped with the required monitoring and tracking mechanism to give the administration an informed, analyzed, actionable perspective to effectively implement the government's vaccination drive. The map-based real-time tracking module of NC2RMS provides the National Healthcare Administration a complete end-to-end view on the number and location of vaccination centers, registration information, number of people vaccinated at each center, along with vaccine details, availability, as well as projected requirement of vaccines over a period of time. The mobile application will enable citizens to choose and allow access to the nearest vaccination center, thus enabling them to register for and get vaccinated. Parallelly, the NC2RMS empowers the National Healthcare Administration and other departments, like law and order, to collaboratively monitor and track the spread, enabling stakeholders to make informed decisions to arrest the spread. How do we achieve this? Imagine a situation where in a particular area, town, province is witnessing a surge in number of reported cases. The National Health and Crisis Response Departments, in collaboration with law and order and other enforcement agencies, can closely monitor and mobilize required support by creating a red zone and monitoring availability of beds, oxygen, ambulances, ventilators, and other critical medical infrastructure to the healthcare centers. The NC2RMS is equipped with the ability to integrate CCTV cameras, which are strategically and optimally located. Video feeds from such cameras can be analyzed using high-end video analytics like IR thermography, face recognition, and etc. to identify and alert the law enforcement agency to take necessary corrective actions by alerting the field response team. NC2RMS has an inbuilt contact center module which enables citizens to reach out to the National Health Administration personnel to get their queries answered and seek assistance with regards to the pandemic, such as accessing to the nearest healthcare centers and medical infrastructure. NC2RMS provides data analytics-driven real-time situation monitoring and assessment to enable stakeholders to act in evolving crises such as pandemics or other disasters and exigencies. In a post-COVID world, NC2RMS empowers cross-functional collaboration driven by AI, augmenting the Unified Operations Center to monitor on real-time GIS maps the trends across areas from descriptive data to predicting the evolving patterns of disease spread in communities, alert the respective departments to drive effective response measures, mobilize emergency response teams, and activate technology-enabled mitigation strategies. Crisis management cannot be effective unless all services are operated collaboratively, with analytics-driven actionable alerts, advisories, and automated workflows. All departments must be seamlessly interconnected on the technology platform. NC2RMS, integrated with Aviva UOC, provides unified operational intelligence platform for crisis control and effective response. Aviva is a British multinational information technology company listed on London Stock Exchange with research and development centers across 32 countries, is a global leader in industrial software and process automation. During a crisis, it is imperative to adopt global best practices such as mandated by ISO 22320 to ensure resilience and recovery. Analytics-driven alerts, predictive forecasts, and prescriptive advisories are critical for rapid response to a crisis. All pillars, security and resilience, emergency management, incident response guidelines, SOPs and automated workflows, collaborative intelligence, and analytics-driven forecasts, predictive alerts, and advisories must be seamlessly integrated in this portal. PMO, CPRC, and state chief executives can access real-time updates on advisories and guidelines, incidents and traffic control, law and order, food and civil supplies logistics, medical response team, mobilization and deployment, cluster containment, emergency response management, pandemic assessment, and alerts on emerging threats. Coordination with departments such as water supply, power, health, police, local courts, and medical units. NC2 RMS provides automated workflows to raise interdepartmental work orders, bring multiple departmental stakeholders on the same SOP execution framework, ensure that SLAs for all the tasks are met in time by all line departments in order to optimize service delivery. Healthcare dashboards provide complete overview of medical infrastructure, emergency services, health providers like doctors and nurses, field workforce mobilization, automated workflows and responses in a collaborative framework. NC2 RMS complements sustainable development goals in line with the global standards, improving the overall livability index and quality of life through enabling public administration and citizen services by digital transformation and technology intervention, along with a unique sustainable ROI model. With this globally acclaimed integrated platform of analytics-based collaborative advisories, lives can be saved, sustainability can be achieved. BioWave, human health protection against infections.
Okay, that's about a quick video which was there. I thought that it will be useful to showcase and explain that how even the crisis management also being part of the command and control centers in the urban administration overall for the smart cities. So that's how it is, because see, we have pandemic. It is not the only crisis or the disaster. There are other things like floods, cyclones, and all kind of a things keep on happening. This may be the one of the most organized mitigation procedure was in the recent times, or maybe in the quite a long quite a long past also, right? So but it's quite important to be prepared. That's the reason the urban administration is across the globe also is looking to bring in this aspect of crisis management or proactive mitigation kind of a concepts using command and control centers across the cities.
Black.
Sorry, yeah. So this is a quick this thing about of course we have this particular platform was also even reviewed by the Indian biggest technological think tank, right? So that's about it. And now I'm opening the session for the questions. Please feel free to ask the question.
Thank you, Dr. Chinmay. Any questions? Any questions to the speaker, please? Yeah, what are the project opportunities or research opportunities, or like how can we take it further?
Well, okay. So the research opportunities, the thing is urban management and technological intervention in urban management is a kind of a never-ending topic, right? So because the over the period of just about 4 years or 4+ years in India itself, what we saw was initially the smart cities concept was something, and then slowly, initially it was the main attention was to connect everything, right? So build the connectivity infrastructure, and then bring in one by one, the data intelligence, and now it is predictive, management and all these things. But all of a sudden it has changed the scenario last 1.5 years or 2 years is on this particular pandemic aspect, right? So there are many other aspects which are there, like how can the water quality can be monitored well, and how how collaborative infrastructural analytics, right, the machine learning can improvise the things, right, and how can it improve the decision making. And similarly, how there were certain cases where cyber security and cyber attacks on the water treatment plants to poison the water, right? So the secure these kind of aspects are the research areas, and all these things can be brought in as a pluggable components to the integrated command and control centers. So am I answering your question?
Yes, yes, surely. There's one more question. Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Actually, like to open up the ideas. Are there any such integrated command or control
Yes, of
centers in
course.
India is another question.
Yes, of course. There are about uh, 25 or 26 command and control centers across India have gone live, right? So two of them we have only done, three of them rather, we have only done. Two of them are the state of Ranchi Smart City and Gangtok Smart City, and one in Belgavi, right? So Belgavi has a command and control center which has gone live, right? Gone live, but it is still under for the certain further implementation, because the government officials need to get assimilated and accustomed to this, right? The new environment that is going on, the capacity building is going on for all of them. Yes, there are the implementations going on in India very aggressively. Approximately 40 to 45 are under implementation at this moment in India itself. 40 to 45 cities. Okay.
Yeah, can we
All these
extend
are
this
for
change?
urban
Yeah.
areas. What about rural areas? It's a good question, because as I initially started this session, right? So the government has conceptualized the mission, first of all, to urbanize the smaller towns also. That's why they have first phase, they have selected 100 cities or towns, right? And in the second phase, they are already mulling about 500 more smaller towns. And then it may not, it may, we also have brought in a concept. We had a discussion with some of the uh, top bureaucratical officials of India. Of course, we are also contributing in terms of enlightening new concepts and bringing in best practices which are there across the world also. But India is, as all of us know, is a different environment overall, right? So that's the reason even a panchayat level also is being thought over. There is a mission, if you are interested, just visit it. It is called the NRUM, National Rural Mission, actually. Another question I see here is, do you think the smart city solutions will increase the cost of living? How? Actually, it is not. Then it is not actually smart. The thing is, if you, I will give you a simple, quick assignment. If you see your property tax receipts that you are, the bill you pay to the municipal corporation or city corporation, it has got all these money which you are already paying to government as a taxes. Like example, let us take an example of a solid waste collection, right? So solid waste management. So if you see your tax bill, there will be a breakup that a user fee for solid waste collection, right? Which may be some amount of 7 rupees, 10 rupees, or 20 rupees, depending on which state you live in. Okay. So that actually, here the technology intervention will really add the value for the efficiency of that. Otherwise, currently in a manual procedure, there are a lot of human errors. Am I right? So that is what it is the case. Now, it will not really increase the cost. It should not really increase the cost. That is the idea. Technology has to cut the total cost of ownership for the citizens. This is the idea. Yeah. Hope I am answering Mr. Rajit Sayed's question. And next question is from Mr. Ashok. As facility increases, cost of living also increases. Yes, that is what I was telling. I was telling that the technology or the facilitation, it reduces the total cost of ownership across the period of 5 years or 10 years, right? So that is making that is how it is sustainable, right? That is how it can become sustainable. Otherwise it is not sustainable. So the idea is to reduce the cost over the period of time. Otherwise, we are all seeing how many times governments lay the road and again some other department comes and disturbs the road, again lay the road. These are all duplication of the expenses, correct? So collaboration or collaborative environment will cut them off. For digging a road also, there will be an SOP created in the command control center. So that is the aspiration. Maybe in of course, improving the age-old practices is very difficult task, but over the period of time, maybe half a decade to 1 decade, we will see the results of this. Am I answering, Mr. Ashok? In fact, to tell you one more fact, before conceptualizing all these things, there is an activity which takes place, which is called detailed project report, which is called DPR, right? All the smart cities, SPVs, because all these smart cities are conceptualized as special purpose vehicles, like a limiteds, like a quasi public sector companies, right? If I talk about Belagavi Smart City Limited, Namchi Smart City Limited, Gangtok Smart City Limited, and Bengaluru Smart City Limited. So all these are conceptualized as companies, and here the first activity that goes on is preparing a smart city proposal. What is your city's importance? What is the priority? How to address these priorities? This entire proposal is being prepared. You can also Google for SCPs or smart city proposals. You will get a lot of cities proposals. Even you can search for the city you are living in, right? And you can directly approach the contact details given in that proposal and write them the letters or the emails, right? You will get definitely an answer. All otherwise, on the Mahua Smart City Mission portal also, there are email IDs given. You can copy them and send them also. You will understand it is a transparent mechanism where you have entire proposal listed. Similarly, the DPRs are detailed project reports. What are all the components that need to be brought in? How are they conceptualized? What is the benefit? There is a detailed cost benefit analysis is also part of the DPR. These are all publicly available documents. You can Google and you will get them. Yeah. So next, another question from Mr. Ajit Sayed is what type of interface is there for academicians to such smart city projects handled? Yeah, smart cities will have a particular PRO cells in every smart city, which is all these 100 smart cities are there, right? They are supposed to be, and they are also practically also directly approachable. For example, when we were working in Belagavi, both the colleges of Belagavi, both I think 2 or 3 engineering colleges, including the Gogte Institute as well as KLE, some of the delegates visited there, right? And also right now also, if anybody from Belagavi is here, please, you are welcome visit the public facility, right? You just need to go there and there will be the PRO cell. You can just inform them that we are bringing our students for academic tours. You can bring them and you can show them, because it is your money. At the end of the day, we are all the citizens' money, right? So students can get a complete, tour of this. There will be people sitting, you can take a look at it. Am I answering, Mr. Rajit Sayed? Great to know that. In fact, please take your the respective students to your nearby smart cities if the command center is implemented. Otherwise, you people are welcome if you could make a tour to the smart cities where we are implementing. Please, communicate to us. We will arrange for these things. Even a virtual tool also. Okay, so the Bangalore is, just it is Bangalore smart city has started. They had just called the tender in the mid of this pandemic just few months ago. I think the implementation is about to start. It is not yet started. Bangalore may be ready maybe in next 1.5 years or so. Such other, why? Because all these metro cities have different type of a command centers, like police control room, fire control room. They have different command centers, right? So that's why the top category A cities are given a lesser priority. As I said, the smart city mission's idea was to make tier 2, tier 3 cities, smarter, so that urban migration could be cut down. That's why.
Thank you, Dr. Chinmay. I think all questions are answered. Thank you for a wonderful session. We'll look forward for your words, your insights, your knowledge sharing during the valedictory session as well. Thank you very much. We'll rejoin at 3 p.m. If no more questions, we meet at 3.
Thanks a lot. In
Thank you.
fact,
Thank you very much.
thanks for the opportunity, Dr. Balchandra and Dr. Rajeshwari. And it's, very intriguing questions from the participants. And thanks a lot. I'm glad to help and glad to answer any more questions if there are. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank